Welcome to the Backup Level Up podcast. I'm Khoshaba from Rewind, live from Atlassian Teams 26 in Anaheim, California, talking with founders, executives, and professionals about setbacks, incidents, and inflection points that shape how modern teams build, scale, and come back stronger in the age of AI and DevOps. I'm here with Alex Ortiz from the Jira Life. Alex, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to summarize it quickly. I do a lot. I primarily make YouTube videos, and I have a show called the Jira Life, and we do a live stream every single Thursday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. But on top of that, I am a trainer, and I have a different channel where I have over 1,500 videos on how to use the Atlassian tools. Yeah, lots of videos. And then I'm training folks in person. I do events. We go around the world. I host my own events as well.
That's great.
We do virtual stuff. I am also working with solution partners and doing trainings for them. And when I'm not doing any of that, I'm just helping people with their Jira problems. So basically, if it's in the Atlassian ecosystem, I probably have a toe or two in it.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit about your t-shirt? It looks pretty cool.
So it's not cheap to come to Team.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people recognize me. I have almost about 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, so huge followings, millions of impressions, huge social media presence as well. So a lot of people recognize me and know me, and so I partner up with some of the marketplace partners to basically be their walking billboard, to basically help fund and pay for me to be at Team. So it's a support for me, and then it's a support for them, where we walk around with their jerseys. Very much similar to your very vibrant yellow jackets here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's great. So Alex, what do you really enjoy? What do you genuinely enjoy most about your role at the Jira Life?
Impact. We make a lot of videos and we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in the Atlassian ecosystem. I like to call ourselves the ESPN of Atlassian.
I like that.
And because of that, we're critical, right? We tell Atlassian when they're doing a great job, we give them praise, but we're also analytical. So when they're not doing well, we tell them where those are. But it helps the ecosystem. It helps shape the product and the experience for the millions of customers.
For sure.
And so people tune in, they watch us to listen, to hear us banter, to hear us discuss, debate, and then people build relationships and they build some sort of closeness with us.
Absolutely.
But we also do trainings for the certifications. So Atlassian has 5 different certifications, 3 different tiers. Well, they have 5 in one tier, then they have a lot of others in the other tiers. But we do like study sessions. So we'll walk through the material, talk about our experience, and then as I'm walking through the expo, in fact, I was a little late because people stopped me to tell me, thank you, we watched your videos, I was able to get past the cert, this changed my career, it helped me with my career. So that level of impact is what I love about what I do.
That's awesome. And I love how you have your YouTube channel and podcast it's real talk, right?
Yeah.
Real people using real tools with real feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So let's rewind a little bit here, Alex. What really originally pulled you into this space or this industry?
A job?
Money?
Yeah. Well, a little bit more than that. I used to work at the Boeing company, and about 18 months after I graduated from college, I got thrown into the deep end, and I was put in charge of a tool called Team Foundation Server that Microsoft makes. It's a Jira-like tool made by Microsoft. And so I was able to lead that mainly because Boeing at the time was moving talent out of the West Coast to St. Louis, Missouri, where nobody from California wanted to move to. So I was given an opportunity to leapfrog my career, take on a leadership position, and I owned an entire tool that was, again, very similar to Jira. So later in my career, when I wanted to get back to California, me being the lead of that tool opened up new opportunities, and I landed on a team that was responsible for doing the same thing I was doing with the Microsoft tool, but with Atlassian. And so I was able to just naturally fall right in.
Yeah, it's like a smooth transition.
Yeah.
So let me double down on that. Was there a specific moment where this shifted from an interest into something you seriously wanted to pursue?
Yeah, so I started as an administrator. I was always on the technical side. I have a master's in systems engineering, and one day I'm at the gym. You might not believe that I'm at the gym, but I was at the gym. And a gentleman reached out, like he was working out, and he's a systems engineer.
Oh, wow.
And I have that master's. And I missed the birth of my firstborn and the growth of my the first 3 years because I was working full-time and going to school full-time And I just didn't see those first 3 years of my child's life.
Oh, wow.
And so I told the guy, he asked me like, would you like to become a systems engineer? And I said, yeah, because I wanted to see if the degree was worth what I had missed. And so I switched over and I became basically like a project manager, and the team was using Jira. But I brought all of that experience of being the administrator over to now being the user, and I was able to like leapfrog everybody because we're like, we can just tweak this thing to make it work for us. And it just unlocked a whole new level of productivity with that tool and with the team. And it just, I haven't looked back ever
That's so
since.
interesting. Wow, that's great. So how did you go from that initial idea to something real? So your first app, your first sale, your first customer, or any meaningful traction?
Well, it started with, I'm working at a very large company, and the impact there is very little because I'm one of 100,000 employees. So I had this idea, this dopey idea to go to a startup. And I went to this startup, it's a 300-person company, and I'm like, surely here I can have an impact. And it was basically high school never changes, right? It's different faces, but the same game. So about a year in, I got a little depressed, and I'm like, this is basically the same thing I had before. So I took a leap of faith, and I quit everything, and I launched a YouTube channel. And I went all in on just, if people are gonna put glass ceilings and control the level of impact that I can have, I'm just gonna go to the internet and see what happens there.
That's so interesting.
And so I started making videos and videos and videos, and now we're 4 years in and over 1,500 videos.
Wow, that's great. So looking back, what was harder than you expected at that stage?
It's very lonely, right? It's very lonely, and most of the time I feel like I'm yelling into just a black camera,
Yeah.
and there's nobody on the other side. And for that, it takes a tremendous amount of just like self-work a little, because you don't know, right, what's going to happen. And the numbers help a little bit, but this is why I love coming to conferences like this, because then I get those face-to-face interactions and people come up and say, like, you really saved my bacon. Like, you helped me with my career.
The validation. So you know behind that camera, there's thousands of people who actually appreciate what you do.
Right. And it's hard to take that or to appreciate that when you're just making videos and you made 100 videos and then you have like 1,000 views.
Exactly, yeah. So looking back, what was harder than you expected at that stage?
The consistency, I think, is really the hardest part, because you want to give up every day. You wake up every single day just saying like, this isn't worth it. Every single day there was like, why did I quit my job? Like, this is the dumbest thing I could have done. Luckily my wife was working and can support us, but like being the father figure of the house, like it was one of those things where every day I wanted to give up and just go back and get a job, because
Content's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, and it's a long game, it's a long haul. The criticism too, like comments are mean.
Absolutely.
and so it gets rough.
But you become more resilient, right?
Yeah.
So
Whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger,
exactly
right?
right. Yeah. So that leads me to my next question. What did you have to learn quickly to adapt?
Just to ignore the noise, right? To just stay on your North Star, and eventually things will work out. I think is what I've learned. But from the quickly perspective, it was just like not giving up. It was one of those things. It was one of those things where we're living in a society where it's okay to like give up, right? It's okay to pivot. It's okay to, there's no consequences, right?
Right.
And I wouldn't have had any consequences if I just gave up. And so it's one of those things where you gotta learn quickly of like, you learn the value of not giving
And
up.
trust in yourself.
Yeah,
right?
a little bit of that.
Trust
Believe it or not, my father-in-law had a lot to do with it, because he's self-employed as well. And I remember talking to him, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I have no idea what I'm doing. And he's like, you'll be fine. I've been doing it for 30 years.
Right. See, it's just having that little bit of a support, that
Yeah.
little push, and trusting in yourself, which is awesome. So let's focus on the turning point here, Alex. What was the moment when things really started to click for you? Was it a decision, a hire, a market shift? What actually changed the trajectory of your career?
I believe it was becoming an Atlassian champion. Atlassian opened up this program called Atlassian Creators, which has now been rebranded as a champion. And it enabled me to get resources from Atlassian. It enabled Atlassian to help promote some of my stuff. And so my reach became much more global at that point. And I think without that, I probably would have given up, because just the numbers weren't, like, as a solo content creator, it's really, really hard to make it through, right? It's kind of like breaking into Hollywood and trying to become an actor or an actress. It's really tough. So without that support from Atlassian and that foundation, I don't think I would have gone as far as I am today.
That's great. Wow. So was there a risk you took that in hindsight, it made a disproportionate impact?
I would say investing in my family to help me build everything. So I laid my wife off or told her to quit. So I mentioned her that she was breadwinner for a while. There was a moment where like it felt like we could cover our bills, but we were gonna hit a glass ceiling again. And so I told her, I'm like, I don't want to hire somebody else. I want this to kind of be an intimate thing. And so my kids are on payroll, and we all build it together, the four of us.
That's so amazing.
And so there was that moment where we're like, okay, so we're gonna give up insurance, we're gonna give up a good safety of a job, we're gonna give up a lot of like, we had clearances with the United States government, we couldn't get fired, type of thing, right? And we're like, we're giving that away
Wow.
to just jump in on YouTube and just do that.
It's a leap of faith.
A very big leap of faith.
And I totally commend you on that. That's amazing. And on the flip side, what's something you did early on that you would never do again?
That was a little tougher, but I would say, like, I experiment a lot, right? And so I don't know that I would never not do again, but I want data points. And I immediately try something, and then I get a data point, and then pivot. And so I'm pivoting a lot, and I kind of feel like I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I don't know that I can pinpoint it to just one, but it's just, I don't even think about them anymore because I got the lesson that I needed from that, and I went in a different direction.
And it's made you who you are today.
But I will tell you that not having a team early on was probably a miss. We're at the team conference, and the value of teamwork is very important.
Absolutely.
And I try to do this alone as much as I could. And that's probably one of my bigger misses where I'm like, I wanted to just do it myself for as long as possible. Mainly because I'm scared, or was scared, of people depending on me to feed their families. And so I think doing it alone was probably my biggest miss, because you grow way faster when you have a team.
When you have when you have a partner and opportunity.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a great story. So let's focus on the level up here. What's one lesson that fundamentally changed how you operate today?
Volume negates luck.
Volume negates luck.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's an Alex Ortiz quote. I don't know where you got it from.
Yeah.
But essentially, I'm really obsessed. I wake up every single day at 5 a.m. I tell people I work in Jira like 18 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
It's usually from 5 to 5 minimum. I'm doing Jira every single day, 6 to 7 days a week.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
every single day. And it is just this obsession to create the most amount of content, learn the most, and just help as many people as possible.
That's
And
amazing.
and that's why like the volume negates the luck, because 5-10 years from now you'll say, oh, you got lucky. But
You guys all better be appreciating Alex right now. That's a lot of time and effort that he's spending away from his family to do
well,
that.
that's why it's a family business, because the family folds in. So now I got my kids next to me editing the videos, right? And so we're in there, we're collaborating.
amazing.
So it's a little bit of a gray
goosebumps,
area,
yeah.
but
It's
it's
so
a little bit
cute.
of a gray area. But I think I get away with it because I feel like I'm spending time with my kids. I'm mentoring my kids. My wife's in there with us. We're all in the office together, building something together that we believe in, and that's for us.
That's so fantastic. So, Alex, if someone is trying to get into that next level right now, to really step into the career that you're in, what should they focus on that actually moves the needle? So, if there's one piece of advice that you can give our listeners and our watchers, what would it be?
Mentorship.
Mentorship?
Yeah, when you find somebody who's already done the things you want to do, they have all the cheat codes, right? They're overpowered because they've already done everything you're wanting to do, and most people want to give back, right? They're not gonna gatekeep anything, and I think a lot of people try to figure it out on their own for whatever reasons that may be, but finding somebody who's done what you're trying to do, like you can bypass 30 years of pain and just ask them, and they have the answer. And I think a lot of people are either too shy or pride or
they don't know.
Or they don't know, right? But just finding people coming to conferences like this and just meeting somebody, asking them what they do, and just stepping out of your comfort, like. But those mentorships, like even for me, I'm constantly trying to find new partners or folks that can help me, because there's no point in like taking the slow route to learn it, because you're gonna learn it, but you could go the long way or the short way.
Exactly, and that's the whole reason for this podcast too. It's just like so we could feature people similar to yourself that have gone through this journey, and share your experiences with our watchers and our listeners, so they don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? And they can reach out to Alex if they have a question, right?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to build I don't have my badge with me, but I'm trying to build a council of Jira admins, because we've gotten to the point where like, who trains the trainer? Like, where do I go to get better when I'm using the tool obsessively for so long? And even sometimes I have to go like help Atlassian fix the tool, because I'm finding things that they missed, right? And so I'm trying to build this community where we get together and we just share our best practices and we share what we've tried, what's worked, what doesn't work, so that I've already learned these. I've already got the scars. Like I might as well share them so that you don't get the scars, and then you can give me some ideas and we can kind of collaborate. But we're one of my biggest takeaways here within the Atlassian ecosystem, and this is a shout out to Rob Castaneda from Service Rocket, but he basically says we all wear the same Atlassian jersey. And so even though we all have different colors, but at the end of the day, we're all in this Atlassian ecosystem. Some of us are competitors, some of us are collaborators, but we all wear the same jersey at the end of the day.
That's so true. I like that. So Alex, just to wrap up here, where can people connect with you and learn more about what you're doing? It's so exciting.
Well, I'd like to tell people if you Google or YouTube how to do anything in Jira, my face should show up. But it's Ape Tech Tutorials or the Jira Life. Both of those are going to be my two big YouTube channels that I have.
Perfect.
But yeah, we're live streamed every single Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Every single we don't skip a beat on that show.
That's great.
So that will be live here in a couple of hours.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm super excited to see that. And what's next? Anything exciting on the horizon that you can share? That's what's happening at Jira Life?
Yeah, so we are doing a big event in Dallas, October 27th to the 29th. We are going to take training to the masses here. We're inviting folks, and we're partnering up with sponsors and marketplace partners and solution partners. And we're shooting for 500 people to come and join us to basically come and learn from the experts on how to use the tools.
Exactly.
Because this is real hands-on training as opposed to like sales pitches and stuff like that.
Well, that's great. Well, Alex, thank you so much for being on the Back Up to Level Up podcast. It was a pleasure having you here, and I'm super excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you so much.
it.